decision what to do and what not to do. We are saying that we are having 42 veterans in the province. Regional secretaries were entrusted with the responsibility to recruit in regions or to assist the Veterans League to get those with 40 years unbroken service record in the different regions, because the majority of the 42 veterans are residing basically in Francis Park. State of the Alliance, we are saying that the Alliance at times good, at times bad. It's good when we speak with one voice, we cohere nicely. But when we speak with many voices, you can see the instability in the Alliance, and you can see that we are unable to dictate and embark on programs that will bring us together. The Alliance is not happy. We point out in the report, the Alliance is not happy how we handle deployment matters. They felt sidelined. They felt that the organization is imposing. They felt that they are not adequately consulted. And from the side of the organization, we made the point that we must improve our communication with the Alliance, and we must consult more, in particular, on issues that affect the Alliance. But we also make the point that we must come up with joint programs so that the people can see the Alliance in action. We had several secretariat engagements with the Alliance. We had 5 asides with the Alliance. We had a political council with the Alliance where we discussed problems that affect the Alliance. We must improve on that work. And then the broader MDM formation, SASCO, we felt that they were reckless in not registering for the SRC elections at Solplaiki. They need more nurturing support. We have more SASCO structures, in particular in the Francis Park, because of the number of institutions of higher learning that we have here. But the province is broad, and SASCO sit with serious problems to discharge their responsibility with regard to doing work because of limited resources. On the issue of COSAS, we are saying that COSAS is basically moribund. We don't find the SASCO in our schools. We have a provincial structure, but there are also serious contestations with regard to provincial structures. Or should I say parallel structures? That's how we call 2 structures in the ANC who claim to be the legitimate structures. We have parallel structures. We were instructed by the National Executive Committee of the ANC to assist in ensuring that we take COSAS to a conference. The Youth League will come in handy to assist us because we feel it's their area of work that they can prioritize, including SASCO, to ensure that COSAS goes to a conference. We have new ways of doing things. We are just emphasizing cloud. They say that if it's not on cloud, it is not done. So our branches must now learn to move to cloud when it comes to reporting. As soon as you report on cloud, it reflects at Luthuli House. We'll train our trainers again so that they can roll out the training to the branches to put them in a position to use cloud, because we'll be reporting on cloud as we move closer to the local government elections. Then we have election structures that we explain. The local government selection process, we are pointing out in earnest. We'll start on Sunday with issuing letters to branches, instructing them to start with their PPGM programs, following basically the same guidelines that they followed when they convened PPGMs and also PGMs for the regional and provincial conferences. Then we reflect a bit on the state of the provincial election teams, regional elections teams. The figures are there. I don't want to go through that. But what we can see is that many of our structures are not ready. They are not ready for elections. But then we reflect also on the by-elections. We thought that it is very important, now that we are preparing for the local government elections, to give a succinct report on how we fared with the by-elections. Chairperson indicated that we won all, but we had a baptism of fire when we started. The first by-election that took place on the 14th of June, we were trounced by the opposition. We got 83 votes, and DA won that by 88%. So that's a huge difference. And also what we want to point out here is that you'll see many of the wards we won by 40 odds percentage, 42, 43%. What that means is that when you have a single opposition contesting the ANC, when they club together, it would be easy actually to defeat the ANC in those elections. So just check. What we are interested in is that you must check the percentage that the ANC won in each election. Where we do good, I think it's in Nama. we must avoid the two centers of power. And it was agreed that in Polokwane that the president of the ANC must be the face of government, creating a dilemma when it comes to structures below the NEC, meaning necessarily that your provincial chair must be premier, your regional chair must be the executive mayor of the district municipality, and if you are elected on the PEC, you must be an MEC, and if you are elected on the REC, you must be a councillor, director, or occupy a senior position. We never deployed Comrade Zamani Sol on the basis of the position of chairperson that he owns in the ANC. He was deployed based on his capacity to understand government and to make changes in government that will advance the cause of the ANC. Well qualified and experienced also in government, having served the government at provincial level, in the ministry, as municipal manager, and having obtained numerous academic qualifications, including masters and a doctorate degree. That's what we said when we went to Lutuli House to go and present our candidates. We never said that he's the chairperson of the province. It was obvious because they know that he's the chairperson. Why do you have to repeat something that everybody knows about? It would be, I find it very strange if Comrade Bentley invites me to his house. Chief, can you come to my house? There's an urgent matter that I want to raise with you. When I arrive there, only to find out he tells me that, do you know that I'm a black man? You are wasting my time, I'm busy. So Comrade Zamani was nominated, and we don't want the president to be set in regions or even in branches where comrades now vie for political positions in order for them to be deployed in senior positions in government. Doesn't work like that, comrades. Then we reflect on the different departments. I won't go through the departments. The reason why we reflected was basically to enrich debates that will unfold in commissions. Sometimes we, out of the fact that we might not know certain things that were delivered on in government, will then repeat those things in commissions. So we outline here achievements, but also challenges that, and we were frank when we did that, so that comrades can use this as part of the resource package as they go to commissions. We then report on constituency work on page 91. We say that the constituency is basically an expression of the ANC in a particular constituency. And we requested that all MPLs and MPs must visit their constituency areas on a regular basis, service their area, and ensure they address the problems that engulf our communities. Because communities are saying, we only come to them when it is elections time. So we must address that problem. And then we outline who is deployed to which constituency. And the final page there on page 96, it's a bereavement, but we realize that the bereavement is not exhausted. Many more comrades passed on, but we could only record so much. Viva ANC, viva! Viva!
Amandla. Thank you, Comrade Provincial Secretary. Comrades, that's the organization report. Can I invite heads for engagement on the report? Comrades, you can just raise your hand, page number. There's a hand, there's a hand. It's Namakwa. Just just move to the mic.
Thank you very much. My name is Robert Kluter. Chair, I want to make a proposal that we discuss the organizational report in the commissions tomorrow. Therefore, I want to move for the adoption of the resolution.
Thank you very much, Comrade Robert.
Chair, Comrade Marego, I second the proposal.
Thank you very much, comrades. Very progressive. What we will do, we'll take the report as a resource document to the commissions. Comrades, let me immediately hand over to the provincial treasurer to take us through the financial report, and then we are going to get the briefing on elections. Amandla.
20 minutes is too long. Thank you very much, Comrade Deputy Chair. Let me also appreciate the opportunity to present to conference the finances as mandated by the PEC. The ANC members, provincial chair, and the officials, PEC members, this financial report, Chair, is not going to take us 10 minutes. The ANC, comrades, remains a revolutionary movement that requires an independent resource that is sustainable to continue the work of the organization. And these require and demand open-minded approaches, taking into account the organization's fundamental values, its customs and cultures, but more importantly, the founding principles of this organization. The current public expression, Chair, about the ANC is that it is an organization characterized by infightings, by factions, poor behavioral conduct and ill discipline amongst its ranks and file. Now, the perception of corruption, Chair, has negatively impacted on the support of the ANC, and this needs an urgent attention to continue to broaden the membership pool, the support and its admirers and friends that see it fit to continue to support and contribute time and resources to the well-being of the ANC. Chair, the perverse relationship between political office bearers and the private sector and its operators have laid it bare in the proceedings in the Zondo Commission. We've seen how millions of rands allegedly went into the pockets of individuals while the organization remains poor and is unable to take care of its affairs, including honoring salaries of its employees. Our people, Chair, and members must be our primary focus in our fundraising efforts. Now, the perpetual dependence on donors is highly problematic, particularly in the context of the newly enacted Party Political Funding Act. It should be mentioned, Chair, that the Act obliterated what used to be the party political funding provided for in the legislature, and we are left with only the caucus fund and the constituency fund, which themselves are regulated and can only be used for certain activities. Now, the above call for a greater and urgent measures to create self-reliance. So unless we are self-sufficient, we shall be exposed to forces that do not have the interest of the movement at heart. Now, our regions and leagues must play an active role by embarking on a variety of fundraising projects. We should, however, caution that this should be within the parameters of what the Act prescribes. Chair, the question of the implementation of our programs to mobilize financial support for our programs going forward will have to be engaged with renewed determination and awareness of the role and importance of funds and fundraising in the advancement of the people's cause. Now, the Political Party Funding Act, which was enacted on the 1st of April 2021, makes provision for an improved funding of political parties from the fiscus. The Act's regulatory framework defines funding models of political parties. The Act also outlines areas of funding prohibition for parties either by government agencies or foreign governments, as well as foreign agencies. Now, this legal framework is aimed at providing national interest protection from policy distortions, unscrupulous domestic and foreign tendency with their manipulations. So this Act needs to be interpreted as such and has to be adhered to. This Act and its disclosures requirements, Chair, impedes on the donor funding strategies. Important matters to note: when the Party Funding Act came into effect are as follows, Chair: that a political party may not pay any direct or indirect remuneration or other benefit of any kind to any elected representative of the party or to any public servant at any level of government. So if you serve in any structure and there is a deployment matter you have to execute, do not expect the ANC to pay any money into your account as a public servant. It doesn't matter at which level of government. The Party Funding Act may not finance or contribute directly or indirectly to any matter, to any cause or event or occasion if it contravenes any code of ethics binding on members of parliament or any provincial legislature. The Party Funding Act may not use the money directly or indirectly to start any business or acquire or maintain a right or financial interest in any business. The Party Funding Act may not use the money directly or indirectly to acquire or maintain a right or financial interest in any immovable property unless if solely for ordinary party political purpose. So we can't even act as guarantees. And the Act may not use the money for anything else that is incompatible with a political party's functioning in a modern democracy. In effect, Chairperson, this means that the Party Funding Act is administered through the IEC, which keeps parties informed of the relevant rules and regulations. The responsibilities of each political party receiving an allocation from the fund includes keeping a separate account with a bank within the Republic of South Africa, into which money allocated from the represented political party funds must be deposited. Chair, all provincial treasurers were workshopped by the Office of the TG, and the Office of the Provincial Treasurer also took on board the regional treasurers on the Act. We had to register the provincial bookkeeper on the IEC portal to declare all donations on a weekly basis. Regional treasurers must disclose all donations on a weekly basis to the Provincial Treasurer's Office, who in turn submit to the Office of the TG, and these disclosures must be accompanied by bank statements that are drawn on a weekly basis. So the effects of the subdued economic growth, Chair, subsequently affected the basic resource critical for ANC fundraising initiatives. The organization is partly reliant on donor funding and fundraising strategies. Almost 60% of the generated revenue is from donor funding and about 10% from the levies. The 54th National Congress emphasized the need to comply with the General Accepted Accounting Principles, which we refer to as GAAP. So this financial report I'm presenting to conference will demonstrate that this principle is embraced. And this report to the 9th Provincial Conference Chair recommits and re-emphasizes adherence to the financial and accounting prudence and professionalism. So the incoming PEC needs to look at the extent to which the organization's balance sheet represents the current position or organizational value. There's a need for an urgent valuation of the organizational assets, which should be done to regularize the situation currently at hand. It will also need to establish a diverse source of funding to advance both the NDR and the work of the ANC for the realization of the radical socio-economic transformational change. On the other hand, Chair, additional resources need to be raised to service the ANC financial debt, which stood at 9.6 million rand in 2017 when this PEC took over, and it currently stands at 5.4 million, which also includes your operational outstanding invoices to be paid. So, in the quest for stabilizing resource mobilization, the ANC must maintain professional management and accountability systems in accordance with the GAAP principle of accountability, with the aim, Chair, to become an efficient and an effective organization. We have seen, Chair, an improvement in the audit outcomes. When this PEC took over in 2017, we just got a disclaimer in the previous year. So the improvements I want to present to conference are as follows. That in 2018, we then got an unqualified audit opinion with findings. In 2019, it then improved to a qualified audit opinion with some findings. In 2020, we maintained the qualified opinion with some findings. And in 2021, we maintained the qualified audit opinion with a few matters. So, Chair, it's also important to present to conference the balances, the bank balances, when this PEC took over in 2017, that the closing balance as at the 31st of March 2017 was standing at a 41,299 rand. As at the end of 31st March 2018, it was about 220,000. The 31st of March 2019, we stood at 117,000. Now the 31st of March 2020 stood at 50,000. You remember 2020 is the year we hosted the January 8th celebrations. So a lot of the transactional expenditure had to happen. And as at the end of 31st March 2021, the bank balance stood at 3.7 billion and 46. As if it's still there. The PEC, through the Finance Committee Chair, managed to acquire additional assets over the period under review. The building we are using as the operational center at the corner of Amatawe, this PEC managed to buy that building at the value of 15 million. We are still busy with that transaction, which should then be settled by the end of July 2021. So we've paid already, Chair, and we still have got a 2 million outstanding from the 15 million. We also managed, Chair, to acquire a decent vehicle for the Office of the Provincial Secretary. Now, Chair, the clause 3.2, which emphasizes on the character of the ANC, states that our policies are determined by the membership, and leadership is accountable to the membership in terms of the procedures laid down in this constitution. This should also be the case on how we conduct our financial affairs. The manner in which we raise funds for the organization should be informed by our character, and at its core should be the principle of accountability and integrity. So our character is very clear, and it should be preserved as an act of political self-preservation. We should work hard to close out the back doors through which wealthy individuals seeking relationship with political office bearers quickly come to see and dispense assets to political actors as their route to influence. Our economy, Chair, is still characterized by severe racial inequalities, and this has a direct bearing on our fundraising efforts. Not even our mass membership system provides for prospects of financial relief. We had to fight an unprecedented number of by-elections, Chair, as indicated both in the political report and the organizational report under the year and in the period under review. So the dissolution of the two municipal councils, which is Renosterberg and Popane, exacted enormous financial resource pressure on our coffers. Comrades should not think that it's easy. You misbehave, it costs the ANC. Fighting an election is a resource intensive, and our analysis are that to a large degree these by-elections were occasioned by high levels of political ill-discipline, Chairperson. Fighting these by-elections are a political imperative as they serve to entrench our hegemony in society, and we must ensure that the ANC gets a return on investment. And that return on investment is through enhanced service delivery to the people. Elections we are not fighting elections for the sake of fighting elections. We are fighting elections to deepen democracy and deliver quality services. So, Chair, we spend on average an amount of between 200,000 and a million to fight by elections. So if we behave and we service the people, the ANC will be able to do something with that average amount. We have a total of 227 public representatives across this province, across 26 local municipalities. And that excludes the 5 district municipalities. We've got about 18 representatives as members of the provincial legislature, with a speaker, deputy speaker, and the MPLs, with a premier and his executive council. We are in control of all 5 district municipalities, and we occupy the positions of executive mayor and speakers. So we are by far the largest and most pervasive political formation in this province. Now, how do we translate these into proper resources, into human, financial, and organizational resources, and use our pervasive strength to garner financial independence and to exhibit less dependence on the private sector donors? Now, any organization, and particularly a revolutionary organization such as the ANC, must use its vast membership base to fund its own affairs. The ANC remains an organization of the poor and the marginalized. It is an organization that is thoroughly permitted to the left in terms of our theory and practice. Now, this characterization, Chair, must reflect and find expression in our attitude towards financial resources. The foregoing is much more important in this period of organizational renewal. So, Chair, more recent data shows that between October 2020 and January 2021, the percentage of employed adults declined from 55 to 52%. Now, this has got a direct bearing on the income collection through levies, as comrades' abilities to contribute monthly to the coffers also decreases. The above, so when workers demand for these increases and government finds it difficult to comply, it frustrates the coffers of the ANC, because then they won't be able to even pay an additional 10% as per the inflation requirements. So the above outlook, Chair, has got a direct bearing on our prospects for financial independence towards, as I'm concluding, Chairperson, we've got in this report the proposed pledges calculated at an inflation rate of 10%. We are proposing that MECs, deputy ministers, speakers, and the DG contribute at least 1,300 per month to the coffers of the ANC. We are also proposing, Chair, that the chief whips and deputy speakers we increase to a 750 rand a month. Executive mayors and committee chairs, 750 rand. MPs and MPS, at least 650 rand. HODs and DDGs, please, at least a 650. Chief directors, 550 rand. You can increase comrade if you can. Directors, at least a 500 rand. Deputy directors and councillors, at least a 400 rand. What this proposed structure is for the provincial coffers. There's a structure with the office of the TG, where everyone contributes. There's a structure at the regional conference level, where councillors contribute. Comrades, the independence of the ANC depends on all of us sitting in this one. So, Chair, we thought as a PEC to just share with conference on the income we could generate. In total, the income received for the period the 1st of April 2017 to the 31st of March 2021 can be summarized as follows. Now, I'm not going to mention the municipality. There's just one municipality in this province whose councillors still contributes to the coffers at this level, whilst they are also contributing at the different regions, also assisting in their different branches. And those levies over the 4 years total the 485,000, so it's not a lot that we collect per month. Comrade Chair, the fundraising income over the 4 years totals 53,207,000. Chair, we managed to at least accrue 44,000 as interest, and the membership levies, Chair, at 904,000. We still need to reach the 1.5 million mark, comrades. So the party political funds, that is from your caucus fund, I'm not saying the caucus fund is funding the activities. There are other means within which we benefit as an office. from the caucus fund, because those are our employees. And then the Party Funding Act that is now cancelled on the 31st of March, and over the period under review, the legislature's contribution combined valued at 10.9 million. Such a overall, we had an income of about 65 million over 4 years. It has never happened. Whilst we generated 65 million, we had some expenditure close to 65, not. So, where we spent, Chair, for the by-elections, it's now over a 4-year period. We spent on by-elections 1.2 million. We spent on conferences and events and 9.2. You would understand also the fact that we hosted the January 8th celebrations in 2020. The regional allocations, Chair, as and when there are programs that we have to fund in the regions, we spent 4.1 million. And operational costs, we spent just above 33 million across the items. And we also have spent 40 million for the purchase of the building. And the total expenditure stood at 63 million as at the 31st of March 2021. Now, Chair, we also are presenting the liabilities. We will be presenting and just giving a synopsis of the cash flow and so on. Our liabilities, Chair, stood at capital 9.6, and that includes your historical debt, what we pay as salaries and wages, our repayments also, Chairperson. Chair, I think it's important to close it off with this statement to say that we reiterate the call of the President of the ANC for an end to the deadly violence in Palestine. As a people that have been subjected to barbaric violence in the past, and as the beneficiaries of their support, aid and solidarity, this provincial conference must instruct the provincial government to mobilize the Greater Northern Cape community to join the government of the Northern Cape in displaying solidarity to the oppressed and exploited people of Palestine. The occupation of Palestine by Israel is unjust and illegal and must be condemned in the strongest possible terms. Chairperson, and in conclusion, Chair, as we conclude the work bestowed on us by the 8th Provincial Conference, we would like to thank the funders and the supporters for their valuable support and contribution. The support provided by the Provincial Executive Committee Chair is highly appreciated. The work of the ANC to entrench its hegemony in this province will be incomplete, Chairperson, without our reliable volunteer corps. They bore the brunt of abuse, and some went for days on end on the bare minimum and only were motivated by the love for the movement. So whatever little resources we have, Chair, at our disposal is extended 1,000,000 times by their generosity and commitment. So we are hugely indebted to our volunteers, and the proceeds of our struggle must surely also be extended to them as a function of our revolutionary conscience. Chair, maintaining the integrity of our finances and proper financial management is a role that has been diligently performed over the last 4 years. We have to thank the Office of the Provincial Secretary the staff in Amatawe, and the staff in all the regions for understanding the need for us to begin to professionalize the accounting systems, and that is the reason we could see the improvement in the audit outcomes since 2018. Lastly, Chair, we'll have to also extend a word of gratitude to the bookkeeper for his steadfastness and commitment, because a few of the colleagues wanted to take advantage, and we have to once again remind them there is an act we have to comply to. You either adhere, comply, or you are out. So with this, Chair, I want to thank conference. Mandla. Comrades, as I indicated that I will just share with you in brief how the financials look like. I've just shared with you the income and the expenditure, isn't it? I also just shared with you our liabilities. I've also shared with you the financial performance of the levies, how they performed, and so on. Maybe what is important to share with conference is just to indicate here and there our operational expenditure patterns, or let me say expenditure items. Because if I were to go through an item and portray a picture of a pattern, it will take us the whole night. So in our normal life, in the office of the provincial treasurer, we spend on the following. We spend on rates, electricity and municipal charges. We pay for playing. We have to set the example. Everyone in this house that has an outstanding municipal account, you will have to pay your account. If you don't pay your account, then councillors can't pay their levies. I hope you get the sense. We pay for bank charges, your normal cleaning has to happen, your consumables. Chair, what should be of interest also to conference is the fact that we on a regular basis transfer money for programs to regions. You know, when there's a by-election, the region don't even pay for the registration of those candidates. It's this office that pays. So we've spent at the last 71,000 for transport SATs. Comrades, it has come to an end on the 1st of April 2021. If you are in the employ of local government, provincial government, national government, don't call us and tell us you don't have accommodation, you don't have petrol. It becomes your responsibility as a deployee of the ANC. Go there and reach your destination and just perform what is expected of you by this piece. So, we thought, Chair, a conference will have to apply its mind on best way to ensure financial sustainability. We hope that at the end of the commissions there would be resolutions around best way to fundraise and not being dependent on private donors. And my story ends there, Chair. Thank you. Amanda.
Mantla. Comrades, there's the financial report for the term of office. Just hand on my left. Just move to the mic.
Thank you very much. My name is Mana Manola. I'm standing just to move for the adoption of the financial recovery.
Thank you very much. There's a move for adoption of the report. Hand in the middle. I note once about. Thank you very much, comrades. The more hands. I don't see more. The orders and down here. All right, thank you very much. Comrades, there's just a request from the provincial secretary that all the regional secretaries should join them at the back. All the regional secretaries, they should join them at the back. Comrades, can I then give over to the convener of the province, the NEC deployees, to take us further in terms of the program. Over to you, Comrade Colin and the team.
Amanta! Viva ANC, viva! Viva ANC, viva! Viva Northern Cape, viva! Viva Unity, viva! Viva Unity, viva! Comrades, you are very tired, but I can't blame you. Comrades, we would like to take this opportunity on behalf of the National Executive Committee of the ANC to thank the Provincial Executive Committee of the ANC in the Northern Cape for dedicating their time and everything else for the past 4 years in saving the movement. We say this, comrade, I don't know if I'm not causer, but we thank them very much. It's now time for them to return to the branches of the African National Congress. Thank you very much, Comrades Amanisol and the PEC for saving the movement for the past 4 years. We'll remember the PEC with the 3 risks and the 4 imperatives. The Electoral Commission, Comrade Nakolo, we are inviting the Electoral Commission comrades to come and make their presentation on the nominations that you comrades in the branches have made. While we are waiting for them, comrades, can you welcome former PC members of the just to make us hot?
Yeah. It's chronic. Because, I mean, things happen in sets, and that's what they are there
Let's see if I'll come there.
So what's happening now?
I think they're going to go. Don't take it. I don't know. Eat and vote. And then I'm supposing that they're going to come back and announce the vote results.
Was ga je er maar los, man? Ja, hier. Oh, hallo. Can we pray for them?
One, two. Comrade delegates, can we please enter the hall? We would like to proceed and end the business of the day. Please, comrade leadership, can you come in? We want to proceed and the ice is already ready. Can you please come in, leadership?
Ngimnandi.
Umakha kwemoni.
Bekahlele ngarani uhufa kasex.
Baba! Baba!
Comrades, bahlale phansi bangumthetho. Bahlale phansi bangumthetho. Comrades, I'm very cold. I'm very cold. I want us to leave. Can we call all delegates outside? All delegates, can you please come back to the plenary?
Very light.
Comrades, thank you very much. We are getting late now. We are getting to 12 o'clock and some comrades are still traveling to Port Nolloth. What we're going to do now, can we have order, comrades, please? Can we have order? What we're going to do now is to hand over to Comrade Nakolo to introduce a team. Can we have order there as well? We are now going to hand over to Comrade Nakolo with the team, the elections agency. They will then take us through the process. But what we have agreed, comrades, in the interest of time, Comrade Nakolo, is that today we'll only deal with the officials. Tomorrow morning, first thing in the morning, before any other item, we will then deal with the innocent members such that we allow them enough time to prepare the ballot and all of that. Okay, comrades? Comrade Nakolo, can you please come and talk to my comrade and we finish. I'm getting cold.
Chairperson of the session, our convener, Comrade Colin, members of the ANC present, the outgoing PC, honored guests, comrades, revolutionary greetings to you all. Comrades, let us be reminded that our national democratic struggle has always been referred to such for a number of reasons. National, when we talk national, it's because it was fought at a national level, or it was fought nationally, and at the same time, it's a struggle for nation building, going beyond tribal and ethnic origin. It is democratic because ours has always been a struggle for democracy. Deliberately and intentionally, we have always applied democratic methods to fight for democracy. These are some of the most important basics in understanding the ANC and its progressive culture and traditions. The ANC principles of democracy, non-racialism, and non-sexism have a mutually reinforcing relationship, and they must be upheld and promoted at all times. The absence and or failure to uphold these principles poses a serious and direct threat to unity and renewal. More than the emblem and the black, green, and gold colors, it is practicing of these principles that makes us South Africa's time-tested revolutionary movement long before we became South Africa's governing party. Our conferences are about developing programs and making resolutions, and not just about election of leadership. The election of leadership is still important, though in that it must result in a well-balanced team of some of the best amongst us to lead the implementation of the resolutions and programs we've adopted. Whilst we would like to discourage the attitude of seeing elections as the only thing in a conference, but we would still not want to diminish the significance of elections. And it is for that reason that our movement has developed electoral guidelines that are intended to ensure that we manage elections of leadership, and in this case our PC, in a manner that reinforces democracy, unity, and renewal. The process must be transparent and fair so that all can accept the outcome, even those who may have wanted a different outcome. Comrade Khalima used to say, and I quote him, "Once it gets to a point where it becomes a matter of life and death to occupy a position of leadership or not, with an eye on future opportunities, therein lies the danger." Close quote. And therefore what we need is a South Africa, is a leadership that is of character, that has self-discipline, that has a determination, that has an attitude of service, and is sure of the substance of life. And therefore, comrades, with those few comments, whilst encouraging and ensuring that we elect our leadership in a democratic way and in a transparent way, our guidelines allow for us to have an independent body that runs that process, and with us we have elections, an elections body, and in this case they are led by Comrade Aaron Kehla, and he is leading an army of committed foot soldiers who are ready to discharge this responsibility of ensuring transparency and democracy in everything we do. And therefore I will invite Comrade Aaron to report to this August conference how far we've come with electing, with the process of electing our leadership. Amandla! Away, two!
Sanbonani, Dumela, good evening, Moloeni, Basotho ba teng, Basotho ba moshwashwaila, dumelang.
We're not.
All right. With all protocol observed, we are all duly greeted from the election agency.
which is here to assist this province to conduct elections in a manner that must be free and fair. First things first. Nominations from branches were received, they were audited, and I'm going to give out a final outcome in terms of the branch nominations. That is the first process. The second process that we then are going to undertake after confirming everything else before we declare, we will then have to do the second part, which is a process of floor nomination, which is going to be guided by a threshold of 25% of the adopted credentials. But I want to check with the House first, as to say, we have received your credential report, which then I must confirm with yourselves whether it is a true reflection. The report that we have received indicates that we have received 536 voting delegates. Is it that way? Can you confirm that the voting delegates here are 536? I'm hearing it, but it looks like you're not sure. There it goes. At least it's confirmed now. Now, on hindsight, I want to quickly finish off the 25% of your 536. Meaning for the name to arise from the floor, it will require 134 delegates by show of hands. Can I repeat that one? Delegates at conference, they must be 134. Now those delegates will then qualify a candidate into a ballot paper. All right. Now, I'm going to give you a report in terms of what we received that we have audited. For a name to qualify in terms of a branch nomination process, a name must receive, for top 5, a name must have received 20% of the audited and qualifying branches. In this regard, a name will qualify with 41 branch nominations. For additional members, a name will qualify with 21 branch nominations. Anything less than that, that name will not qualify. Now, here I am now. I'm going to give you an outcome in terms of how branches nominated. First, I want to read out all the names in their various portfolios who have qualified in terms of the branch nominations. Then after that, I will then come and check with them, those who are nominated, whether they want to accept or decline nomination. And then immediately, position per position, I will then call for a floor nomination process to check if ever there is any other name that might arise from the floor. Can I make this request again whilst in that process? Two things that I want to indicate. Now we are going to read out those names that qualified. One, for this process, we only want to determine whether the name is qualified, not in terms of it is qualified in terms of how many nominated. It is not our business. Our business is to say this name is qualified. But secondly, we wanted to open because we must still do the process of the floor nominations. And often we find that delegates will then want to say, no, we want to close nominations. Please, when you raise your hand to want to suggest that, and I then put it to you now that you don't do that. One, it is because this process must be open, free, and fair. So delegates must never leave this conference feeling that they were oppressed from expressing their take, their choice. So we must allow delegates in this conference, when they want you to nominate, they must nominate. Please, they must never be intimidated. Can I make that plea? Can we agree on that? So if a name, but if there is no nomination for a particular position, don't raise your hand, all right? And I will call for further nomination once, twice, thrice, and officially close that nomination for that portfolio. And then immediately then, I will then get the incumbent, if ever it is the case, and then we then can then celebrate in a manner that you do know and understand better. Okay, but allow us first that space to conduct that. Okay, then before I proceed, check again whether are there delegates in other breakaway, in other tents, so that if they are outside, they then form part of these proceedings. Maybe I don't know if ever somebody can assist us in terms of that. Because if ever they need to raise hands to nominate, we should then be able to acknowledge them and allow that space for them. And then this is lastly, I know our environment is not much easy considering the regulations around COVID. But still with that, we really might wish again not to have voting delegates mixed with non-voting delegates. Can this House be assisted in terms of that division so that when we proceed, we don't find ourselves with people who are not supposed to participate in this process participating because taking advantage of our situation? Can all those who are non-voting delegates find yourself somewhere where you are separated from the voting delegates? Can we then take that exercise so that we clear that space? There is a suggestion that they can take my left, this is my left, and my left is your right. So your right of your right is my left of my left. So they can take this direction and move that side so that I'm able to speak and talk to people who are all voting delegates. There is a hand that seeks to raise a question or a question or what I'm going to say, but it's closer to the mic. You might to raise your issue. But in doing so, you then indicate who you are, where are you from, and then you are able to say what you want to say.
I'm Teshimanga, former provincial secretary of the ANC in the Northern Cape Province. Yes, we have comrades in other marquees. The request is that non-voting delegates should either take the seat on my extreme right, and then we allow comrades from the other marquees to join us just to make processes easy. or else if we don't do that, we'll have to do counting in here and send your representatives to the other marquees, which will actually complicate things for us more.
And we agree on that. I think it's a proper proposal. It makes a lot of sense. Can we agree on that one? Those who are non-voting delegates, this other side, my left-hand side. And those who are interns, can they quickly join us, and so that we are able to proceed? I'm not seeing that movement. I'm not seeing a movement of non-voting delegates. And I don't want to assume that everybody seated here is a voting delegate. I don't want to make that assumption because I can tell that it's not true. All else we are seated both the voting and the non-voting delegate. And if it means for us to make that exercise of double-checking whether, as seated here, indeed you are a voting delegate, we don't really mind to do that process, that exercise. But we are appealing to you, gently and kindly, to move to this other side so that we are able to proceed. I'm not seeing movement. Then we then proceed. But the other thing, I'm worried about delegates who are standing and right at the back. When you go to the mic so that we can hear what you are saying. Were you coming to the site? All right. Maybe for agency staff, but just for purpose of time, saving time. When you count, make sure that, and can I make this request to yourselves? Not to raise a hand, but raise your tag. So that you can see from your tag that indeed you are a voting delegate. Yeah. Is it fine that way? So when you raise your hand, don't come and complain that you are not counted. Because we will count your tag, not your hands. Is that fine? We are now proceeding. Through the branch nomination process. Now this is the outcome. For the position of the chairperson, we had only one candidate qualifying. And that candidate is Zamani Sol. The position of the deputy chairperson. Again, we have one name qualifying. That name is Bentley Vass. For the position of the secretary, again, only one name qualifying. Deshi Dalukono Nanga. For the position of the deputy secretary, again, only one name qualifying. Maruping Kikweli. Lastly, the position of the treasurer. Again, only one name qualifying. check with them whether they want to accept or decline their nominations. Please, as when you do that, you come in front. Just get closer to the mic. There are things that I want to check with first. One is that this process assists us in terms of identifying even the gender as well. Because sometimes there are some names you might think that they are for a certain gender, only to find that it's a different gender altogether. So by virtue of you coming to the mic, declaring whether you are accepting or declining, you are assisting us to sort out the gender issues. Remember, we must at all the given time achieve a gender balance. All right. Can I then take this moment and check with a nominated person for the position of the chairperson, Babu Zamani, so whether you do want to accept or decline the nomination. Take yourself closer to any mic and indicate to who you are, whether you want to accept or decline nomination.
I'm Zamani, I accept
agency staff will come to you and issue you with a form where you must fill in your names properly so that you are able then to know how your names must reflect. But still on the position of the chairperson, is there any further nomination from the floor? I'm having a challenge. Sorry, oh. I've made a request. I've made a request that whoever who wants to nominate further from the floor must be allowed an opportunity. Please, can you concede to that, so that we know this conference, we live in this conference knowing that we gave every single person an opportunity and that person was never denied that right. The only challenge I'm having is with these lights, because they're reflecting on my eyes. I'm unable to even see further. Sometimes I might not be able to see because I don't know if they can assist me. These lights are just blinding me. Is there any nomination from the floor going once?
Twice.
Nomination from the floor twice.
Twice.
Nomination from the floor thrice. Now, official nomination from the floor position of the chairperson are officially closed. And then we take this moment, confirm, accredit, and do whatsoever. And can I please ask you, in the best possible way that you are used to when celebrating this moment, this just takes some few minutes, and then we then call upon our new chairperson of this province in Babu Zamani Sol to come forward and celebrate the way we are used to. I'm sorry, man. Maybe I know, not drinking, maybe they are not blessed with melodies, musically. Maybe, I'm not saying, but that's not how we really would then ascend your chairperson. You can do some better work now. gently pass whether he or she will want to accept or decline nomination. Then please go to the nearest mic and indicate who you are and then what is your position.
Thank you very much.
With that in mind, then I then proceed with the floor nomination. Is there any nomination from the floor for the position of the deputy chairperson? Going once, going twice, thrice, and official nominations are closed. Of the secretary, then we move, then we continue. Then we go back, let's go back. For the position of the secretary, you mind going back? And while you're still doing that, I am reminded that much as we are singing and everything else, please don't ever remove your mask. Continue doing that, but wearing a mask. COVID protocol. Position of the secretary. Can I take this moment and ask whether he or she wants to accept or decline nomination?
I accept nomination.
With that said, can I call upon for nomination from the floor for the position of the secretary? Going once, you have to step in when you're standing because I might not see a hand. You must sitting down so that we are allowing a person so that we are able to identify. Take a seat. I'm looking at you. Take a seat. Nomination from the floor for the position of the secretary. Going once. Going twice. Going thrice. Official nomination for the position of the secretary. A very big round of applause for Comrade Jesse Galupon. please. Position of the Deputy Secretary. Can I then take this moment and check with Marupi whether he or she will want to accept or decline nominations. Rupi.
Thank you very much. I have already accepted the nomination.
With that said, can I check from the floor whether there is any nomination from the floor for the position of the Deputy Secretary? Going once, going twice, going thrice. Official nominations. Position that we are going to deal with today will be the position of the treasurer. From the ground up, outcome, the represent area on, we will not keep it up, please. Delegates, please. Let's keep quiet, please. Candidate that qualified and I want to double check with that candidate whether he or she will want to accept or decline the nomination. Makaton, can I check with Fufe Makaton whether she wants to accept or decline nomination? Please go to the mic. Can I check with the House whether there is any further nomination from the floor? Going once. Going twice. Going thrice. Official nomination for the
much, comrades. This brings us to the end of today's program. You have the newly elected officials of the PEC who will work who will take the program from us tomorrow. Tomorrow, 9 o'clock, we are starting with the nomination for additional schedule. Please be punctual, comrades. 9 o'clock, we are starting. Please, the conference